Welcome to the KOMO Sports End Zone podcast with KOMO Sports Director Niko Tamurian and Najee Moye.
Well, hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the KOMO Sports End Zone. I'm Niko Tamurian, and that is Najee Moye. Hey, Najee.
Hey, Niko.
Hawks have won 4 in a row.
4 in a row with I would say, a well-rounded shellacking.
Yeah.
Of the Arizona Cardinals, my favorite team in the league.
You know, and I want to apologize before we get into breakdowns and moving forward to this massive clash for first place in the NFC West with the Rams. I apologize for trading you Jacoby Brissett in our fantasy league.
Here's the thing, though.
It is a super flex 2 quarterback league to our audience.
Yeah, and to our audience, I needed a quarterback because of the amount of 1,000 teams in our fantasy football league. That oftentimes some teams have like 4 quarterbacks just sitting, 2 quarterbacks on the bench. You start 2. I needed one. I didn't even start a quarterback 2 weeks ago, and I lost. There wasn't a reason why I lost. But yeah, Niko was gracious enough to trade me both Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray.
Just so you were covered.
He got me a good hearty 26 points, which is more than his whole entire team scored.
Well, that's true.
So I knew I was getting myself into. We picked up Jameis Winston this week because
Yeah, well, you have to.
We're playing fun football in New York. But no,
the Seahawks are making every quarterback look kind of not their best right now.
The defense, look, it's been a while since I've seen a game be over, and yes, it was essentially over halfway through the second quarter.
Easily, yeah,
easily.
Without a doubt.
My girlfriend and her dad went to this past weekend's game, and they were like, "Wow, should we stay the whole time?"
Sure.
It was a fun experience to be. They tell me it's a fun experience to be at the game. The vibes are just excellent.
Yeah, I gotta say, sitting in press row, and being fortunate to have done this for about 20 years now, it's very rare that you're kind of just stunned.
Yeah.
But I've had a few of those moments in the last few months, whether you're talking about the Mariners or the Seahawks. And as you're talking about the Seahawks, I mean, it was just one play after another. And it was similar actually to the Saints game a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But as the Seahawks just kept scoring and getting stops and defend, and obviously the best example of that is 2 separate plays, both a forced fumble by Tyrese Knight, both recovered by DeMarcus Lawrence, returned for a touchdown. I mean, that's one of those moments you kind of just look around and see if everybody's as shocked as you are on press row. Yeah. And they were.
Yeah.
And it's to me, Najee, what this says is, okay, like you can take it in the abstract. You can say, oh, yeah, the Seahawks defense is great. Of course they are. You can say JSN is great. Of course he is. Mm-hmm. But the thing to me is this team is, you mentioned this word a moment ago, well-rounded.
Well-rounded.
They have a ton of depth. The fact that the defense was that dominant, scoring a couple touchdowns, and yeah, the Cardinals got some yards in the second half when it was already well in hand.
Much appreciated garbage time points
for your fantasy team, yes. Sure. But they completely shut down the Cardinals. They had 2 defensive touchdowns. That was without Ernest Jones. Mm-hmm. That was without Julian Love. That was without Josh Jobe. That was without Jaron Reed. And you start to think about, well, that's 4 starters or at least main contributors, and you still did that? I mean, this is a team, it's impossible to predict what happens down the road. Matchups and all sorts of things can come in hand. But I'm telling you now, when you're seeing ESPN put these power rankings up there, it's one of those times I'm going to agree with them. And you see the Seahawks and Rams 1 and 2, I'm like, yeah, I see it. I believe it. And the fact that, as we lamented all summer, the Seahawks over-under win total was 7.5 in the offseason.
Come on.
And they're already at 7 with half the season to go. It's really incredible stuff. And I just think that what this says about the team, the way they've won these games is, sure, well-rounded is a word, but depth, the way that you can have guys up from the practice squad and they're contributing, they're playing solid football. The fact you're overcoming these injuries and you're still running, divisional opponents off the field. Shout out to our Arizona fans who like to join this podcast.
We love
they
y'all.
have not beaten the Hawks since 2021. That's 8 straight losses.
Love y'all.
But I digress. Najee, this is the sort of thing, as my rant ends here, this is the sort of thing when you're looking at how they're doing it or what circumstances they're overcoming. That's when you really start to say, okay, this team has something special about them. It's team culture.
It's definitely a culture. And I mean, I said this all year. Mike McDonald has these guys playing together and with discipline. I mean, and he's going to end up being like an all-time Seahawks head coach. Yeah. Just if he continues on this upward trajectory with leading this team, these guys will play hard for them. I also want to mention that it's really hard to beat a team twice in 1 year. Division games are very difficult, and we saw the first game that the Cardinals played against the Seahawks. It was down in Arizona, and the Seahawks only won that game by 3 points.
Yeah, they kind of let Arizona back in a little bit.
Let Arizona back in the game. That was a Jason Myers Oh my God.
Game winner.
Game winner with the salt.
Yeah, the smelling salt.
The smelling salt game, yeah. And, I did predict that the Seahawks would run away with the Cardinals last week, but I will also say that I didn't expect them to just, on the second time you play a team,
sure,
to beat them on every level of the game. The week before we saw Sam Darnold put on a quarterback performance, a show in DC. He didn't really even, when the defense is scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half, you can throw 10 times a game, 12 times a game.
Yeah, you threw 12 times and the Seahawks scored 44 points. That's
exactly.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
We talk about the run game. We want to see the run game just, 15 plus carries by both Charbonnet and K9. And we saw that this past week, and they both ran for pretty effectively as well.
Yeah.
The Cardinals had no shot.
No
and
they're in disarray as it is.
Yeah.
Like this has not been a great season for them. But listen, they're all making NFL money. They're all professional football players. And for the Seahawks to thoroughly dominate them the way they did, I was a little more impressed by the way they beat up on the Commanders, right? Because, Jaden Daniels had come back, obviously, before his injury. And, it was on the road, although the Seahawks have played better on the road.
Sure.
But when you're seeing this in back-to-back weeks, it's really impressive. And so I think there's a lot that you can really feel positive about. And that's not to say, listen, we'll dive into this Rams matchup in just a second. But let's say they go out there and the Rams beat them by, say, a touchdown or 10 points. I don't personally see it going more than, if they do lose more than a touchdown.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that they're suddenly not everything I've just said. They're like Mike McDonald said it on Wednesday. He's like, there's going to be a game where we don't play our best, but they certainly have been playing great lately.
Right.
And it's about how you handle all that. That's kind of going to determine where they are down the stretch. I'm
really excited for this Rams game.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the Seahawks play in their game of the year so far.
Yeah.
Talking about the Buccaneers game. And that was a game that either team could have won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks ended up losing about 3 points, game-winning field goal in those beautiful jerseys. I do think that this is another opportunity for the Seahawks to show people, just like they did in DC a couple of weeks ago on Sunday Night Football. This is not in prime time, although was like, NFL should just flex this game. I know they can't. It's too early to flex. This is the game that everyone wants to watch.
This is going to be a great one.
Rams, Seahawks, both teams are 7-2, top of the NFC West division. This may be, and we're about halfway through the year, past halfway through the year. This game is for playoff seeding.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean,
this is a big deal.
Well, you think about last year when the Seahawks missed the playoffs because the Rams got them on a tiebreaker to win the division.
Exactly.
We're talking about a totally different scenario. If the first time they played down in, if the first time they played up here at Lumen Field and went to overtime, the Rams won. If the Seahawks win that game, then they're the playoff team. So, yeah, I mean, it's one game, and the coach speak says it's the next, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to tell you, this can be the difference between making the playoffs or not.
Yeah. And I think the Seahawks have a real challenge on their hands because they're playing.
Oh, gosh. Rams are tough, man.
Yeah, Matt Stafford's probably the best quarterback the Seahawks have seen all year. Baker Mayfield's great, and they struggled at times. The defense was a little bit injured, but the Rams, McVay's got these guys playing. They're another well-rounded team like the Seahawks, where their defense was disgustingly good, has been disgustingly good all year. Devontae Adams has found the fountain of youth, despite what the clips I found on my Twitter I've seen clips on my Twitter with him just holding his back on routes. Hey man, he's getting up there. And Kyron Williams he's making waves on my fantasy team right now. And I love that.
It all comes back to your fantasy.
Hey, that's what we do it. And Matthew Stafford, he's found
pretty
the
incredible what he's done here.
At this age, he's playing like he's back in Detroit right now. And it's hard to not expect that especially when you consider that he's got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams on each side of him.
They like to run the 3 tight ends for a heavy run, but he still finds a way to get those guys involved. And Mike McDonald said something this week. He said, I've only seen him meeting in person, gone against him a handful of times, but he said this is the best he's ever seen Matthew Stafford.
That's scary to say. That Matthew Stafford's 37 years old.
And he's still doing this.
Yeah, he's still doing this. And also you mentioned the heavy sets with the 3 tight ends. Is it kind of like looking in the mirror a little bit for the Seahawks?
I don't know that. The Seahawks do something similar, but they don't necessarily do it with a tight end. I've seen them bring in, Josh Jones for a backup lineman and you'll hear the official when you're there be like,
he's
774 is reported eligible. So they're not doing 3 tight end by trade. The Seahawks employ a little bit more fullback. They'll also, Brady Russell can be a tight end, can be a fullback.
Sure.
So they don't do it they do similar things, sure, but it's a little bit different. Like if I went to Mike McDonald and said, you guys are doing the same thing, he would point out about a few different, because Mike is a self-proclaimed football nerd. But if you're watching the game and from the basic idea you're getting at, we're like, yeah, they want to load the line and see what they can get done on the ground.
Right.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
And especially going to be the goal when you talk about that Rams front line. Holy cow, on defense. That's going to be tough to break through in the run game, even as good as it looked late in that game against the Cardinals.
I'm excited for this game. I think the Seahawks will not lose this game.
Really?
They will not lose this game.
Okay.
Mike McDonald has these guys playing great on the road. And that's the thing. It is a road game. I mean, LA does not exactly have a home field advantage per se.
Yeah, sure.
Because people in LA maybe don't care about football so much when you're in LA, But what does the injury report look like for the Seahawks? Like, what are we thinking as far as secondary wise? I mean, who's
Josh Jobe. I mean, we're full disclosure recording this on Thursday night. Things can change.
Sure.
Josh Jobe has been practicing, albeit in a limited capacity. He's coming back from concussion protocol. Julian Love he's on IR. He's not going to play. He's got a couple more weeks on that.
Right.
But Rob, I'm going to tell you something. Looking aside from that, I mean, Ernest Jones, limited participant, so that's good. Kobe Bryant should be all right, good to go. So the secondary should be intact. But I want to talk about something, and is one of my personal favorites. Reek Woolen has been playing a great level of football,
right?
And that's something Mike McDonald said was actually, earlier in the year, Jobe kind of overtook Reek in some situations. I mean, spoon is spoon. He's not moving.
Right.
But Reek, over the last month or so, McDonald has said has really been stacking. Mike McDonald loves to say stacking days, stacking games, stacking whatever
one foot
it might
after
be.
the other, right?
And and he said to that point, Reek has really been doing that, and we've seen it. Woolen has looked outstanding, and that's a game changer,
right?
Because Reek Woolen is something you cannot teach 6'4" and 4.2 speed.
Believe me,
you cannot do that. And so the thing with Reek lately had been kind of they want him to be a little more consistent. They want him, but then now they've got that.
Yeah.
And so now not only is he rocks out on his side, Spoons rocks out on his side, but you've got depth at a time when you're dealing with some injuries like with Julian Love. And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Nick Eamon-Wari, the leaps and bounds that guy's growing at. I mean, did you see that tackle he just basically did with his right arm on the screen?
He's a very strong guy.
He's a rookie.
He's rookie. Yeah.
So this defense,
his favorite player is Cam Chancellor.
Right, well, that was beautiful. And he
think
said
about
that on draft
day.
Yeah.
Think about that. I do think the Seahawks may need both those guys to be.
You need all hands on deck.
all hands on deck in this game. When you got guys like Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams who can still take the top off of a defense,
Yeah. That's gonna be a great matchup.
It's gonna be a great matchup. I do think that at least going on the offensive side for the Seahawks, that I don't want to predict who's gonna have a big breakout game, but this could be, and he's been breaking out all year. He's a rookie, Torrey Horton.
Well, we got some health concerns there.
Yeah.
Again, as of the Thursday night recording, he went from a limited participant Wednesday to not practicing Thursday.
Ooh, okay.
That's not the trend you want to see. It doesn't mean that he's not going to play.
Right.
It's just something. Again, with the full disclosure, this is being recorded Thursday night. You're gonna have to watch it for the Friday participation, and then of course the final designation heading into the weekend.
And the reason I bring him up, and it may be someone else, even like an Elijah Royal or AJ Barner, who's
that's a good call
more of the set, because when you have a guy like JSN who is in the running, probably leading to Offensive Player of the Year. He's miles ahead of every other receiver in terms of yards, and Sam Donald, that's his guy.
Yeah.
You may end up seeing the Rams take maybe a double team early,
Yeah.
And when the Seahawks definitely try to load up the box, put a whole bunch of heavy guys in there and just kind of expect, hey, run the ball. We're going to run the ball. And then just throw play action or like a boot.
They love doing that. That's how they got JSN in that one pass, the boot. Yeah.
Right.
Play action boot.
I think what some teams would do is they're like, okay, we'll load the box and we'll expect no passes, but what will happen is they'll throw the JSN. Well, I don't think Sean McVay is going to fall into that trap. I think he'll keep two human beings on JSN the entire game.
Right. And so
I'm not saying he won't have a good fantasy game. I'm just saying that if I was Sean McVay, I would make sure that JSN, because he's that level now.
Yeah.
He's certainly that level. He was getting there last year. He's definitely wide receiver one
Leads
in the league.
Yeah.
He's elite. I would expect JSN to them to attempt to lock him down. Maybe this could be an Elijah Royal breakout game. I'm sorry to hear about Torrey Horton.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna guess game time on that one, just based on the end of the report here. He's got 2 injuries. He was limited at Wednesday, and they completely held him out on Thursday. That's not the direction, obviously.
You don't want to hear that,
Yeah, but I would say I like your calling the tight ends. I like the idea.
Even Rashid Shaheed.
I was just going to say this is why you traded for Rashid Shaheed. Yeah. Obviously, Cooper Kupp had that big play about 67 yards against the Cardinals. Right. He was kind of bummed he didn't score on that one. Yeah. You've got some depth there, and we talked about this. Najee, I know you were a big proponent of this, that you already had AJ Barner, who came on kind of big as a rookie last year, but then you draft Elijah Arroyo, who sure is by definition a tight end, but he's fast. He's athletic enough that you can play like a receiver, a wide receiver.
He's just very tall. That's what it is. He's from Miami. They're definitely used to. He was kind of. I don't want to say wide receiver one because he wasn't wide receiver one. He's not even a wide receiver, but I mean, he was definitely an integral part of that offense down in Miami, and he's showing it again as a rookie already.
Definitely, and so I think that. One of the things I like about the pass game, when you talk about the attention that JSN might get, is that when you think about that first touchdown he threw Darnold to JSN against Arizona, it was, first of all, there's the utmost confidence of Darnold to throw that ball, because while it wasn't a double team by trade, it was coverage with the safety coming over to help.
Over the top, yeah.
There were definitely 2 guys on JSN, so whatever the definition was, and yet Darnold had the confidence to throw it, knowing his guy was going to get it. First of all, it was an epic throw. I mean, just threaded the needle, right? And for JSN to beat both guys and come down with that touchdown. The Cardinals are not the Rams, of course.
They're not the Rams,
but
no.
It's kind of indicative of how competent this team is playing right now, how much they're rolling, how well they feel. And that's the sort of thing, like you said, you can't teach, or I think I said that. And
I said, I'm trying to teach 6'4".
It's going to be interesting though, because you can't only throw to JSN. Obviously, you're going to have to throw in this game. It's not going to be like, I mean, maybe it is, but I don't anticipate it being like the Cardinals where you get a couple defensive touchdowns.
Well, and you never know, because, I mean, hey, DeMarcus Lawrence is DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, that was cool to see.
No, that was cool to see. I mean, and he's fast,
Yeah, that was great. I mean, the McDonald was talking about the body control, the fact that the ball just kind of pumps out. He's like, oh, got it, go.
Got it.
Like, that's, I mean, when people watch, they're like, oh yeah, we did that. But it's like
football's bounced weird ways.
He's a defensive player. And the fact that he just took it and went, I mean, those are great. I mean, he's obviously been playing a while. He's an incredible player. He's carved out a long career for himself, but he was able to do it that way. It was kind of effortlessly. It was pretty cool.
And the reason why I'm calling out a lot of the Seahawks, passing weapons is not to say that we won't see some runs in the game. I think I said a couple weeks ago that the Seahawks run game statistically has left a little bit to be desired. Statistically, the timeliness of the runs, different story altogether.
Yeah.
But, if you look at the stat sheet, you're just like, oh, these are kind of just pedestrian. Well, the Rams have probably the best defensive line that the Seahawks have played all year. I'm not saying you want to avoid them. I'm just telling you guys what to expect.
Probably. Yeah, that's something they harped on a lot this week. Listen, it's a really good Rams.
It's a really good line.
I always love the draft videos from 2024 when you see Sean McVay trying to frantically draft up to get Byron Murphy because he knew the Seahawks were going to take him.
Yeah,
but they still did okay with Jared Verse.
They did fine.
He was incredible as well in his own right. I love this game.
This is going to be a good game.
Here, you know why? Because, okay, listen, the divisional opponents are going to be the divisional opponents. The Seahawks have owned the Cardinals for 4 years now.
Sure.
The 49ers game, that was lopsided one way for a while until the Seahawks got the one win last year in the court. But I don't love that game because it's just a hatred thing. Like, you just don't like the Niners.
No.
And I'm not saying you like the Rams, obviously. But
they weren't first and foremost in the hate list.
Yeah, like this is and just a cool. This is always a good game.
And the hate power rankings, the Rams are always maybe number 2.
Right. You're always getting, and that's the thing. So it's
the
like
Cardinals were number 34.
You're not blinded by the hate. You're getting, did I just do the John Cena? You can't see me?
You can't see him.
Disappeared. No.
He's disappeared.
But you're getting you're getting arguably the top offensive coaching mind in Sean McVay. And I would say arguably the top defensive coaching mind in Mike McDonald. You get a chess match.
Yeah.
And that's what the football fan in me is a little more different than it used to be. Like when you start covering something, right? And I love seeing what they do. I love seeing them. Okay, how is he going to counter this? How is he going to counter that? And I just love that they're going to be going head to head all day. And credit where it's due to Clint Kubiak on the offensive side. We've talked about the different weapons. I mean, the fact that you're mentioning, 3 or 4 different guys that could be the one that steps up with JSN drawing more attention. It speaks volumes not just to the players and the hard work and all that stuff, but it also speaks to the way Clint Kubiak is using them. So this is going to be just a chess match in every way.
You want to talk about predictions? Do you have a prediction? I've got a breaking news text message from our resident Rams fan, Taylor Corlew.
Producer Taylor.
What
does he say?
Well, we talked about the point spread being 3 points. Mm-hmm. That's essentially a push with the Rams to get
That's the home thing, yeah.
With the home field advantage. He was predicting when I first time I talked to him, he was like Rams by 6 or 8 points.
Okay.
I've got a breaking news text message from him. Rams 31, Seahawks 24. We're going to put his Twitter at the bottom of this page so you can message him directly here.
Uh-huh.
Would it shock me? No. These are very good teams. I want to compare the Seahawks this year to how the Detroit Lions were last year.
Okay.
When you watched the Detroit Lions last year, you saw a team with 2 great running backs, a great defense, and a quarterback that can really just like shred an offense or shred a defense. A team that was well-rounded. They didn't get as far as I thought they would in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks, they reigned coming just in the dominance that they beat some of these teams. We saw the Commanders game. We saw the Cardinals game being a team like they beat the Cardinals worse than they beat the Cardinals the first time.
Yeah.
Seahawks are going to win. I think it'll be a 3-point game. And
it's going to be close.
It's going to be a very 3-point. I'm going to go with 34-31 Seahawks.
Okay.
I do think that this will have to be a Sam Darnold game. If you know what I mean? Like I think this has to be another situation where because look, he's efficient. He's been efficient the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Efficient against not the highest ranking opponents, but hey, he's discerning, he's efficient, he is a surgeon. I love that meme. That's my favorite meme. I am a surgeon from that show on ABC. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, he is a surgeon. Yeah.
Najee, I think you sold me.
Oh, what did I sway you at all?
I was inclined to say the Rams win a close game just because they are that good.
Now,
and they play good at home.
Matthew Stafford.
Gosh, he's good.
He's good. See, this is the thing.
I'm going to say Seahawks 23, Rams 21. Okay. I'm going a little lower scoring.
Low scoring.
But it could be higher scoring than
that. That's the under, I think, on the
I just seeing it being a fight in every way.
It's going to be a fight.
It's going to be – there's great matchups. I mean, if you are a football fan and you're not excited about this matchup, I mean, like, check your pulse. Not just the 7-2 stuff, like, which is amazing. It makes it the game of the week, obviously. Right. But you're talking about the way these teams match up. I mean, think about all the matchups we've talked about in the last 20 minutes. Reek and Spoon against Nakua and Devontae Adams. The tight ends, the lines going against each other. By the way, if you haven't seen online the video of Calais Campbell and Gray Zabel kind of talking to each other, it is pure gold.
Yeah.
And I already loved Gray. In fact, I got to meet his parents before the game the other day, the game against the Cardinals. And just as you would expect his parents to be, like, really cool, down-to-earth people. And one thing that's interesting to me is I'm a big Jalen Sundell fan. He started at center all season long. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Going to miss multiple games, Mike McDonald said. They haven't ruled out, injured reserve, which is a 4-week minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was just the course of the game or what it was, but after Oluwatumi came in to replace Sundell at center, that's when the Seahawks run game looked a little bit different. And I don't know if it was the change. Maybe, one guy does something a little bit different than the other. Like, not that one's better. Obviously, the coaches picked Jalen for a reason, right? But I'm just curious to see because if it happens again, then it's a trend.
Right.
Like, one second half in a blowout is an outlier because most of those carries you mentioned were in the second half with K9 and Charbonnet getting rolling.
Right. Well,
so I'm gonna see if it happens again.
So I'm thinking for this game plan, like I said, I did think that the Seahawks are going to try to avoid this crazy defensive line from the Rams, but I do think, Mike McDonald will start with the run, pound, throw, and maybe continue to throw.
I almost feel weird, like, yeah, it's going to be so good. It's funny because I say 23-21 because you swayed me, and I'm like,
I'm very convinced.
I'm like, Niko, you can't pick with your heart because obviously that's what I, of course, covering Seattle sports would love to see happen because your job is more fun when the local teams do well. Like, it's not being a homer.
What I do think is going to be the difference in this game is that Matthew Stafford, 37 years old, and not as mobile as he used to be. I think he may end up running for his life a little bit more than I think Sam Darnold, who is a lot more athletic than a lot of people give him credit for, honestly. I think, and that being said, Stafford can really just get this ball out. I'm thinking about one throw he made. I can't remember the team he was playing against. It was a no-look throw. I mean, this was
I remember that one.
This is what he does, But I mean, I do feel like he's not like Drew Bledsoe. He's not like a statue back there.
No,
he's no Kerry Collins But I don't see him just kind of being as mobile as he used to be, and I think that'll be the difference in the game.
To that point, one of the things that Mike McDonald does so well is they call it exotic blitzes, meaning like you don't know where it's coming from. It's weird. You're not used to seeing it.
Right.
And what's hilarious to me is that even with the injuries they had, we talked about Ernest Jones not being there and some other guys. Mike McDonald said that blitz that he called when Tyrese Knight forced the fumble and DeMarcus Lawrence recovered it, they had not called all season long.
How about that?
And they decided to push the button on it with their best linebacker, Ernest Jones, out. And lo and behold, T-Knight, as he calls him, came through both times with a big hit. And so the reason I say that is that Mike McDonald is a freaking genius.
He is.
I mean, I love listening to him. It's funny because like a lot of times there's a difference in the way questions are asked by the TV reporters and the beat writer, so to speak. Whereas TV reporters, we're looking for something that plays well as a soundbite at night. We still want that information, and we're going to use that information, but we want something that plays well to the audience, which there are football fans out there, but there's a lot of non-sports fans who have no clue what even a regular blitz is, let alone what this, that, or a dime coverage or whatever. That's not even that advanced, but you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I enjoy hearing Mike answer the questions from the beat reporters. And you can name any outlet, you can name any reporters. There's great ones here in Seattle. And he just gets so excited when he gets to talk about the X's and O's and not like the preparing for this or that. It's really fun to listen to, and you can really hear how Mike enjoys this so much.
He plays Madden, and this is
that's what he told me. He said his secret talent growing up was he was really good at Madden.
Yeah, growing up, it's surprise, he's an NFL head coach, one of the best in the league. As someone who also plays a lot of football games, you can really just try some stuff.
I feel like if you played against him and you like called, say, like a nickel, he'd be like, okay, and like just like
he's like, oh,
you know what I'm saying?
This guy. Yeah, but I feel like Mike McDonald's not exactly the type who to brag about things like this or like it's kind of roast you in person. But he'd be like, you'd call a play and you line up in the play. He's like, and this is why you don't do it. Yeah. And then that
would be actually be really fun to do. Sometime.
I can definitely see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we both you won me over to the Seahawks side. Me and you say Hawks. Najee look, Taylor says Rams because he's biased.
Here's the thing. I said the Seahawks will win 12 games at the end of this year.
You did. No, you said 12, maybe even 13. I think at one point.
I mean,
I said 10.
They
11,
have to
maybe,
win games like this
if they're going to do that.
And I think if they want to show everyone, show the country that they are one of the top 3 teams in the league, not just in the NFC but the league, which may also be NFC because I think a lot of the best teams are in the NFC. They have to beat the best.
Yeah, and the backside of the schedule is sneaky tough. Nobody thought the Colts were going to be as good as they were. The Panthers, not that they're great, but they're better than people thought.
Yeah, they're much better.
You know, the Niners in the season finale down there, that's always going to be tough. So
there's another game against the Rams later this year.
Exactly, Thursday night. That's the last home game of the season.
Yeah.
Just over a month from now, which is crazy to think about.
Fast season.
Yeah, so let's get it, Naj.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll really bring you the rapid reaction when this game wraps up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for watching or listening to the KOMO Sports End Zone. Shout out to producer Taylor, John Vu, our entire crew here at KOMO News for helping us out with this. Najee, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Niko.
Hey, go Hawks. We'll see you next week.
Go Hawks.